Okay then, let's get into this one. Rosellas, as you can see, I'm wearing a bit of the merch signed by the boys. Amazing logo of the Rosellas. Like I said, from Manchester, made up of Drew, Ewan, Ollie, and Mark. Um, what a band! What a band is all I can say. So this band, I fell in love about a year ago, I think it was. I seen them in Dead Wax and Digbeth, and they were the warm up act for Juno Dream. And as soon as they come on, I was just like, whoa, who the hell are these? The production in their songs is mind blowing. Um, I do like, don't get me wrong, I like the indie bands with like big guitars, big drum beats, and all that. But sometimes that's all it is. There needs to be more substance to the tunes, and you could tell the detail, the practice, everything which has gone into every single tune these boys do just blows my mind. My favorite songs, I would say, probably Common Ground. I do like the new track Eyes of the World, but my favorite is probably The Same Curse. Um, what can I say about this band? What would I class them similar to? That's very hard. So there is sort of sprinkles of your classic indie music, that Britpop era, which a lot do. But then you got like maybe a little bit of like Roses put in there, even to a little bit of like a Pink Floyd sort of build up and the sort of melodies and the way it flows. And like I said, I've met them a number of times, and I've spoken to Drew, the lead singer, personally, um, countless times, and every time just such a welcoming bloke, and the same as the others from the band. I recently watched them in Bristol, and they just never waver. They're just always perfect. They've done some big shows. They did their own headline show in the O2 in Manchester, and they sold out. This really is the band to watch. They are really really up and coming. If you haven't heard of them, get following them. Their TikToks are amazing. They do a lot of sort of covers of like old classics and just put their own spin on it. Um, they're on a lot of like local radio stations, and they're just growing. And they are definitely on my list of ones to watch for 2026. They've just recently signed their record deal, and these boys are going places, and they deserve it. The hard work they're putting in, like I said, the personalities of them, and the way they are towards fans, and they're just a fantastic, fantastic band and represent everything this world should be showing in terms of, um, like I said, hard work, dedication, um, the way they're changing their sounds already, and they're a relatively new band, and they're already changing with the times and sort of bringing in new inspirations or different sounding tracks. Yes, of course, with most bands they do have that unique sound, but they can change it up. And I gotta say, I've never sat down and listened to a song and thought, nah, bit of an album filler or whatever, because that's how much is going into these tracks. The songwriting from the likes of Drew and Ewan is just unbelievably. Like I said, I can't apart from unbelievable. There's no other word to describe this band. So go check them out. They're our feature for this week. They will probably be touring next year as they do. Or the best thing to do with them, I find, is if you follow their socials, they usually do like a cheeky gig. They just pop up and do a gig. But it'd be interesting to find out what they are doing for next year. I will try and get them on the channel. I'm sure they will, but they are very busy as well. And we could do some features with them, even to do an interview. And they have offered that before, but they are in Manchester. I'm sure we can sort something out. But honestly, now, if there's one thing you do today or you do in the next week, is just get them on a streaming platform, stick them in. If you're on a drive or whatever, sitting back one night having a chill, listen to them. You won't be disappointed. And do me a favor, if you do listen to them and you never heard them before, stick in the comments what you think about them and give them a follow.